So anyway, finances are also important. My husband asked me after the 3-day ceremony to raise $10,000 in America, and then afterwards to join him in Sri Lanka because there it's cannot raise funds, so to prepare for it. So I did that, and I joined him in Sri Lanka. And he always did mission and went many places. And in the beginning, I remember I really wanted his attention. Like before going to Sri Lanka, he had bought an electric typewriter. And before, the typewriters were just, you had to do everything manually. But with the electric typewriter, somehow he could be faster, and it just was a great joy for him. But I felt jealous that he is so involved with his typewriter. I wanted more of his attention. And then also, we were staying with a Japanese missionary family together in a center. The Japanese missionary liked tennis. And I was not good at tennis. So sometimes I was frustrated. He's not playing enough tennis with me. And when sometimes we had a break. So I was trying my best to do the mission and take care of the house, and just I cannot remember very special, but anyway, we always had a nice love relationship from the beginning. That is really important. Yeah. And I always felt desired by my husband, which is really great. But we had one kind of a low point when we were missionaries in Nepal. At one point, my husband said, I don't know anymore what to do. And I had just finished proofreading for him, anyway, many, many pages. And then sometimes he was upset, and I got the silence treatment even for 2 weeks. So, and at that time, I felt, oh, my husband is getting angry. I wonder what to do. And I asked, I cannot talk to the people, just under my husband. So only at that time, Dr. Young was our regional director, so I asked Dr. Young's wife, summon him, and also Honorable Eknath. And Honorable Eknath said, no, don't worry, he's okay. And then Mrs. Young, she said, I can't remember exactly what she said, but I felt could not apply it so much. Yeah, because our younger daughter did not want to get blessed, and so that was very stressful for him, and that was one thing. And also I realized now that proofreading for him is actually pointing out what kind of mistakes he's making, and that is not good for the relationship. So anyway, in 2018, I found a book called The Surrendered Wife, and when I start looking at this, I felt, wow, this has lots of good advice for marriage relationship. So I read that book, and I learned not to criticize, not to interrupt. That's why I had a bad habit to interrupt him sometimes. Then not to nag, not to insist on being right. It's much more important to be close to each other than being right. So that's from a woman's perspective. And to be grateful, to express gratitude every day, several times. And I never had the habit of arguing, of talking back to him or getting angry at him. I felt more like, no, I cannot win any argument. So which was good for our relationship. So basically, it was kind of smooth. But with those, from that book, The Surrendered Wife, and later on, it's called The Empowered Wife, I learned 6 skills that make the relationship very close. And the first one is to take good care of oneself, to make myself happy so I can smile. Actually, I think smiling is very important to always receive the husband with a happy face and smile at him. Also to be respectful, like not to criticize, and then not to control, meaning to trust him no matter how he does things. And if I would do it differently, he has the best interest in mind, and things will turn out well. So I learned to just more focus on my own side of the street, I call it, and not interfere in his way of doing things, not correcting him. And that has been very good. And also to receive graciously everything he gives, his help and his affection and compliments and gifts. My husband is really loving and good, so I have nothing to complain about.
I'm looking for the book Surrendered Husband. Maybe I have to write it. But I think the key to the lasting love relationship, the uniqueness of the conjugal love between a man and a woman, that has to be sacred, it has to be unique, it has to be special, and it has to be kind of infinitely enjoyable for both people. That's really important. I don't know if from the woman's side, I think so, but also from the man's side. And I think that's kind of the key, because for me, we may argue or disagree or, okay, silent treatment for, I don't remember this incident that she's talking about. For her, it was a big thing, though, but anyway. But for me, if we have a disagreement, then the solution or the final conclusion of healing, of mending that relationship back to where it was before the argument took place, for me, I think for both of us, the key is to have really an intimate sexual relationship together. And then it kind of restores that original conjugal relationship, something unique and that I cannot have with any other woman. And it's special in our relationship. And it's just therapeutic. It's healing. It's enjoyable. And for us, it seems to be, getting better and better as we grow older. So when you grow more comfortable, not only with yourself, but with what your partner, how to, help your partner. And it's really kind of a pleasure in our life, honestly, just to be honest. For me, the institution of marriage is not a choice. Because if you choose something, you can kind of unchoose it. So it's a determination. It's a commitment. It's not a choice. I make this commitment. And if you make a commitment and you don't keep it, then that reflects on you. Because you make commitments you don't keep, then that's not a very good character that you want to have in yourself. So for me, the understanding of the principle of the importance of marriage from a principled perspective, from a biblical perspective, the uniqueness that Father has given to this concept, and especially Mother. When Mother is now referring to God as Heavenly Parent, if you work with that or explain that more clearly, then it becomes so important that we realize, God is a heavenly parent. That means God has masculine and feminine attributes. That means the institution of marriage originated within God. So it's like marriage is part of God's DNA. It's that basic. And so if you make that commitment, then that's it. You make the commitment. And, yes, you have ups and downs, but you just keep going forward based on that commitment. So the teachings of our movement are especially strong, not only in the positive side of the importance of marriage, but also the consequence of, sexual relationships outside of the union and how damaging and detrimental that will be. It can be healed, but it's a big scar, and especially in your spiritual relationship, your spiritual development. So it's better to avoid mistakes rather than commit them and repent later. So it just makes common sense. Let's avoid mistakes we can avoid.
I can think of one challenge we had. It took 7 years until we conceived our first child. Of our daughter. But I got pregnant one time before that, but I had a miscarriage already. And during the time we lived in Sri Lanka and in India. And we went to different doctors and had all kinds of checkups. And we realized it's kind of my hormones are the problem that makes it difficult to conceive. And So we were very careful to always know exactly when is my ovulation, because it was not regular. So I had to take my temperature every day and take different hormone injections. Anyway, all the medical treatment, I think, was not cheap. So it was good. We had some extra money from the beginning that was helpful. But I felt my husband was always supportive. He never complained that it was taking so long to have children, and always faithful and never hesitating to do whatever it takes to finally be victorious and have children, even to the point of giving up his mission. He was a regional director in Asia, South Asia, which is India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. And the regional director, the person above him didn't want him to give up his mission. But anyway, he decided it's more important to have children. And our doctor was saying better to go to America or to Europe to try to conceive there. And so he enrolled in UTS in America. And that's where we got our 2 daughters. Yeah. So happy ending.
Yeah, that decision to give up being a missionary was not easy, because that mission of being a missionary was given by Father directly. So I took that with added importance, but I weighed the two, children or mission. And the doctors kept telling us, there's more that can be done, but we can't do it in India. You've got to go to America. So mission or children, And then I realized, the mission was given by true parents, but the responsibility to have children was given by God. So please forgive me, but I'm going to put this one as priority. At least for a few years, I have to try everything. So that's when I stepped back. Then the idea of let's go to UTS, because I've always wanted to complete my education, which I had given up when I joined the church, and then other education opportunities opened up. So, yeah. I think you never lose by sacrificing. God will keep a list and try to repay you for every sacrifice that you've made. God will try to repay much more than whatever you sacrificed. I've seen that too many times in my life.
But I felt always very loved by my husband, and I felt that helps me to give love to the children.
In what should I say to the children? How do I teach? What do we do? What activities should we do? It became very clear to me that the union of man and woman together